Some things just aren't what they used to be, medicine being one of them. Allow me to set the scene for you. Imagine you cut yourself by accident. Maybe you took a fall during a football game, or had a slip with a kitchen knife while cooking dinner. You go to your medicine cabinet and pull out a fresh cream that will do just the trick in healing up this nasty wound. You open up the lid and take a whiff. There it is. That unforgettable aroma of opium, viper skin, and human excrement? Could any other smell quite so perfectly encapsulate the idea of health? I don't think so. And while this special mixture might not be sitting in your medicine cabinet, it might have been quite a different story were you born in the Middle Ages. This cream, known as thec, was a highly popular cure in the medieval times, and just one of the delightful cures we've sadly fallen out of the habit of using in our modern age. Today on History Unveiled, let's take a walk down memory lane and take a look at the world of medieval medicine. Number 1. Thec. As mentioned, some of the most common ingredients used to make the healing substance known as thec were opium, viper flesh, and the excrement of other humans. The mixture was believed to have healing properties and was used to treat a wide range of ailments, including snake bites, fever, and wounds. Modern naysayers would probably like to point out the use of thec was not without its risks. In many cases, the mixture could become contaminated with harmful bacteria or parasites, leading to further infection or illness. And fine, I'll say it, the use of human excrement as an ingredient was not only disgusting, but could also spread disease and contribute to unsanitary conditions. There are reports of soldiers and knights being treated with thec after being wounded in battle, often leading to further complications and sometimes even death. Returning home from a battle and rubbing poo onto himself isn't quite the image most people have of heroic medieval knights, but that was the reality of picking up battle wounds during the Middle Ages. Number 2. Trepanation. Trepanation, the medieval equivalent of popping an aspirin. It's the practice of drilling or cutting a hole in someone's skull to relieve the pressure on the brain or release evil spirits. Because, that's a totally reasonable way to treat headaches and mental illness. Back in the day, trepanation was performed by barbers, blacksmiths, and other non-medical professionals who had a sharp object and a willing patient. And why not? Who needs medical knowledge when you can just hack into someone's skull and hope for the best? But despite the fact that trepanation was often carried out by untrained individuals, there were some cases where it was actually successful. Take the French king Henry II. In 1559, he was jousting when he was struck in the head by a lance. The lance shattered his helmet and a large piece of metal was lodged in his skull. The king's surgeons attempted to remove the metal but were unsuccessful. Eventually, they decided to perform a trepanation and were able to successfully move the metal from Henry's skull. Remarkably, the king survived the ordeal and went on to rule for several more years. Of course, most trepanations didn't have such a happy ending. They carried a high risk of infection, brain damage, and in many cases, death. Unfortunately, there are still people today who believe in the supposed benefits of trepanation. They argue that it can increase brain blood flow and relieve pressure on the brain, leading to a sense of euphoria and improved mental function. Needless to say, this is a dangerous and misguided belief and should not be attempted under any circumstances. So let's all agree to leave trepanation in the past where it belongs. Number 3. The 4 humours. Number 6. Mumia. When it comes to bizarre medical practices of the medieval period, few are quite as special as the use of mumia. But what exactly is mumia, you ask? Well, essentially, a great deal of medieval people thought that there were amazing healing properties to a substance made from the powdered remains of mummies. Yeah, you heard that right. Mummies, as in the preserved remains of ancient Egyptians. This practice was remarkably popular in Europe during the Middle Ages, where it was believed to have powerful healing properties. It was often used as a panacea or a cure-all for a wide range of ailments, from headaches and stomach aches to broken bones and even the dreaded plague. So how exactly did this practice come about? Well, the practice of using mumia as medicine originated from the renowned Persian mumia black pisosphole treatment for wounds and fractures, which was mistakenly identified with black bituminous materials, utilized in Egyptian mummification due to their similar appearance. This was misconstrued by medieval Latin translators to imply the use of complete mummies, and so the trade of mumia began. Merchants would travel east to purchase mummies, which they would then often bring back to Europe to sell to medical practitioners. The mumia would be grounded up into a fine powder and mixed with various substances such as honey or wine to make it more palatable. But was there any actual medical benefit to using mumia? Well, not really, no. Despite its popularity, there is no evidence to suggest that mumia had any actual healing properties. In fact, it was more likely to cause harm than good, as the powder would often be contaminated by harmful bacteria or fungi. Even still, a far more exotic remedy than anything I've encountered in a modern apothecary. And on that note, I think it's best to bring this list to a close before I start checking where I can buy leeches and mummies online. You know, just in case. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss out on any more of History Unveiled.